Maddie from Hello Interloper here. I got some time tonight, so today I'm going to tackle a few of the many questions that you guys have sent in over the past few weeks. Before I start though, in case you guys have not noticed, there was an app update today, and that included this snazzy new loading picture. Pretty cool. So let's get to the questions, shall we? Alright, so Professor Oak asks, since the starting of each event, we all get about 30 plus bugles easily from points. My question is it better to save up most of them for an event that is actually worth using to get the rares, or should we use them normally? Also, which type of event would be best for us to spend all our bugles to get the most out of them? That's a pretty tough question. Honestly, what I usually do with every event is I try to get the rare from points, and it's easier to do in some events than others. It definitely takes a lot of bugles to get the rare in the PvP event, so most likely this event I'm probably not going to use bugles to get that. On the other hand, with the PvP event, it's really good to use the bugles to keep at least in a good rank, because the PvP ranking stays with you. The bonus, like 1.1 or 1.14 times stat increase, that stays with you even after the PvP event is over. So it's good to kind of have that until the next PvP event comes around. Personally, I find the raid boss event is the easiest to get the rare in. So usually I will use a few bugles for that. The nice thing about the raid boss event is if you know that you're going to be the MVP, you will get a bugle back. So you can kind of stay at an even amount of bugles, or of course you'll earn them because you reach certain ranking awards. So I guess sometimes, like, if you don't have enough bugles, it might be good to save it. Though I kind of do always try to keep a good rank in PvP, so it might be good to kind of use them in PvP until you get a stat bonus that you're comfortable with. You don't want to just have no stat bonus. But yeah, most of the time, special dungeons, at least you don't have to deal with that, but sometimes during special dungeons, if I don't want to participate in that, because sometimes I don't have any heart's blood and it's just kind of useless, I just do PvP, go through the normal maps during special dungeons and kind of replenish my bugles that way, in addition to, of course, getting bugles from points during an event. So I hope that kind of helped. I'm a little scatterbrained tonight, I'm sorry about that. Okay, so we have another question. Mind Crusher says, first of all, thank you for the info from your videos. It has helped me and my friends a lot. Absolutely no problem. I'm very glad that they helped you out. My question is more of a bug or glitch confirmation. I was playing normally up until the World Battle Coliseum event. I noticed that all my familiars stopped using their skills. I've tried switching to all different familiars, even those that I got from packs. I maxed their skill levels to 30, yet for the past few days, none of them used their skills, including the 70% buffs and debuffs. Can you help shed some light on this? I did hear some people lost their familiars recently from the bazaar. Is something going on? Well, that's very weird about how your familiars stopped using their skills, but I have kind of noticed that sometimes when I get a higher kill streak in any kind of PvP encounter, my skills are less likely to fire off. I don't really know if this is some kind of game mechanism, but I know that sometimes when I'm at a 9 kill streak or something, if I try to attack, it seems like none of my guys use their skills. And it's really annoying because I do have the 70% buff, and, I have, of course, 5 guys, and when 5 familiars don't fire off their skills, it's kind of weird. But I think it's might be some kind of game mechanic. Not sure. Don't quote me on this. I'm not entirely sure, but I have noticed something very uncanny like that. Now, as for people losing familiars in the bazaar, that unfortunately is a completely legitimate glitch and has been happening not only to other people but also happened to me. For some reason, there have been some issues with the wagon lately. The temporary wagon is supposed to only hold things for a temporary amount of time, but what I had happen is that things that had disappeared from my temporary wagon actually came back, and I never knew that the temporary wagon actually has a limit, because once my temporary wagon filled up, when I redeemed my coins, I could never actually get those coin guys because they went into the temporary folder, but they weren't in there because they're bumped off the list, and it was a nightmare. Basically, I lost an epic succubus pull from that, and I was very annoyed. So I had to manually clear my temporary folder, which had stuff from almost, like a week ago. Shouldn't be in there, obviously, but something has been really wacky. And I also did, of course, in the social section, which is, of course, for Bazaar and everything, I had two of my oldest things that I was kind of just keeping in there disappear on me. So I wonder if they kind of had a little bit of a mix up with the Bazaar section of the wagon and the temporary wagon, where temporary wasn't going away, but Bazaar stuff was going away over time. I don't know, but all I know is I lost a few familiars from the Bazaar section of the wagon glitch. Nothing really substantial. I think I lost like a Nunu and a heavy automaton, which, they're barely even worth two Gjallarhorns put together. So it wasn't that bad, but I'm sure some other people got a really bad end of the deal there. So I hope that helped out. Now, I have one person, anonymous person, who just submitted literally the phrase face cam, so I'm assuming you want to see my face or something. Okay, I don't know if this is gonna work. Ah! Hi! Okay, so now you have your face cam. I mean, I have videos up of what I look like. It shouldn't be a mystery to anybody. Anyway, back to the screen, because I will be using it pretty soon. I have a question from Sam asking, are there any good familiars that are cheap? Well, of course, that's kind of subjective on what you consider cheap to be. For me, it's usually, I'm assuming by cheap you mean around the price of one Gjallarhorn each. So, I'm not going to go through a lot of them because there are so many different, familiars that have lowered in price to about one or two Gjallarhorn each. But, one thing that I believe that everybody should have is some kind of familiar that can use a poison ability. So, Gerda Bleedlu used to be extremely sought after and quite expensive, but for whatever reason, probably with the release of Oniroku and other things that use Torrent of Venom and all these other poisoning abilities, Gerda Bleedlu has gone down in price. You can get them for one Gjallarhorn each, so you could build a perfect evolution with just 8 Gjallarhorns, and if I go down here, I will show you the perfect evolution stats. It does have an attack that is above 11k, which is quite nice for a non-event sort of guy. And if I go down here, I'll show you Venom Storm. Venom Storm is quite a good ability, and with 150% attack multiplier, that can do a lot of damage. And of course, it deals heavy poison damage to 3 foes, and because it's poison, it's extremely useful in raid boss events, where poisoning a raid boss will actually do 99,999 damage. So you can get extra damage in there, which means more points, which means more event points, higher ranking, and so on and so forth. So, Greater Bleedlu is a nice sort of familiar for both PvP and raid boss events. And, there's about a raid boss event once every month, so pretty good. Now, my other pick is Princeps, Angel of Blaze, because he was released recently for the raid boss event, but he is so extremely cheap and kind of overlooked as a familiar. And the reason why I say he's pretty good is because of his ability, which is Rebuke. It's a 200% agi multiplier, which means basically 2 times your agi amount, and he has about a max agi of 11k when made to be perfectly evolved, which means you take 8 of them, max level, put them all together. And speaking of which, I will be making an evolution guide at some point. Got a lot of stuff on my plate right now. But as you can see, he's got pretty well-rounded stats here, and you can pick up him for about 1 Gjallarhorn or 1 Mandrake if you're lucky. And you can sometimes get a pretty close to perfect evolution on the Bazaar by looking up the Epic 4 according to rarity. And you can find him for about 2 Mandrakes or 2 Gjallarhorns, which is such a great deal because with his ability Rebuke, he can pretty much kill 2 people automatically, unless you were fighting something extremely tough. So those are my 2 kind of recent picks for cheap familiars, but, of course, when you check the Bazaar, it's always nice to check under rarity and Epic 4 because sometimes you can find some extremely cheap familiars. Sorry, I'm stumbling over my words there. But I mean, you can pick up some crazy stuff for just one Gjallarhorn or one Mandrake, so it's definitely worth looking into. If you need something cheap and quick and don't feel like evolving things manually, that's definitely the place to look. Especially past 3 a.m., because I believe that's when it resets. It might be different because maybe daylight savings time doesn't account into it, but whenever the bazaar, the 5 things a day thing resets, you can oftentimes get some extremely good deals. So, on to the next question. How many Gjallarhorns can you get in a month? I only get around 8. Any ways how to increase the stock? Well, of course, just going through different levels, completing areas does occasionally get you Gjallarhorns in the reliquaries? Reliquaries? Oh, I don't know. It's another one of those words that you read but never actually heard being said. But it does have a chance of giving you a Mandrake or a Gjallarhorn if you're lucky. Sometimes elixirs, silver coins, whatever. And of course, money. Who needs more of that? But either way, you do have a chance of getting Gjallarhorns from that. But the best way to get Gjallarhorns, of course, is by playing the Bazaar. If you go, like I said, go in a Bazaar, look up rarity. Sometimes at night is best, sometimes first thing in the morning is best. Usually in the middle of the day, everybody's, busy with whatever, so they're not exactly putting things up on the Bazaar. But if you go to Epic 4, do a search, you can find things for so cheap. Usually about 1 Gjallarhorn, 1 Mandrake if you're lucky. And then you can easily sell that back for 2, or you can trade it up for something a little bit better. Whenever you're looking at the deals in the bazaar, just go over to view history, see what people have traded for in the past. I mean, some things are going to be blatant transfers between accounts. Like if you see a Nunu Mountain Giant 2 being traded for, a landful, that's just a transfer. It's not actually realistic. But, you might see it traded for, I don't know, I'm actually looking it up right now. Somebody traded it for a Fafnir, so you can make a 6 Gjallarhorn profit because Fafnir is worth 7. And if somebody is, for lack of a better word, that's stupid to actually go through with a trade like that, 6 Gjallarhorns for you. So make sure that you are always, always filling up all those 5 slots when on the bazaar. You can put up to 5 familiars on there per day. Always fill those up. And if you don't have anything to fill them up with, just go look for things that are super cheap. Epic 4, get the stuff that's 1 Gjallarhorn and try to resell it for something better. And eventually you will be able to multiply your Gjallarhorns into a nice amount and actually get something that you want. So, the last question here is by Monster in the Closet. Oh, I didn't mention that Did I mention that the last question was by Skull Undead? I don't know. I'm getting rather forgetful now. But the next one is by Monster in the Closet, and he says, my girlfriend wants to start playing Blood Brothers, but has difficulty choosing which warlord to go with. I'm currently playing a Wisdom Band with the Grey Mage and the Purple Knife, and she wants to play something different. The problem is that the Red Samurai, Golden Lance, and White Knight are all on par early in the game when she tried them all. Any nice recommendation on which 3 she should go for? Thanks. Well, I personally have my main account. I have a dummy account that I use for recording things, but on my main account I do use the Golden Lance, and he's pretty good, except the only problem I have with the Golden Lance is the fact that, you might want to boost his damage done with Grace of Winds, but as of now you can't get just, plain old Grace of Winds. I believe the one that does it to 3 guys, adjacent guys, and you, rather than, the whole team. Can't figure out the right words to explain right now. But the only guy that really knows that as of now is, oh my goodness, I'm really drawing a blank here, but the Drake Knight guy. And he can't be used as an ad skill familiar, so unfortunately we're stuck with, Grace of Winds that affects the whole team. That's, of course, a less large agi increase. And also, let's face it, most familiars are attack based. It's just how it is. Most guys right now are attack based and or wisdom based. We don't really have that many really good agi based guys except for Lanvil, and that's really about it. So I would personally recommend the Red Samurai because right now it seems that whenever I fight anybody with a Red Samurai, their team is very well rounded, especially because if he has, some kind of, oh, come on, work from the brain. If he has some kind of attack boost and you have a lot of attack familiars, you can pretty much beat any team. I've gotten beaten by so many all attack teams that it's pretty crazy. On the other hand, I have seen a lot of White Knight teams that have been doing crazy damage with strength buffs, and not only that, with shield and dagger, which is absolutely crazy. I did have one White Knight do a 13k shield and dagger. It was extremely scary, but just goes to show that with this whole add skill thing, you can have a very flexible team. So I do like the Golden Lance, but honestly, I have had a few misgivings about what I should have chosen to begin with. I kind of sometimes wish I chose the Red Samurai or the White Knight. That's just me, because my entire team is attack based except for Golden Lance. Anyway, hope that helps a little bit. And I'm sorry I don't really have enough visuals to show you. If I could somehow connect my phone or iPod to my computer and have visuals, that'd be great, but unfortunately I don't know how to do that. So I have another question, and this will be my last question of the night. Is by Xefa or Xefa. I'm sorry if I say your name wrong. They ask, "Hi there. What should I get with 500 Gjallarhorns? My warlord is purple knife, with looks like Torrent of Flame. Oh, why can't I figure out these abbreviations right now? Something else and Flash of Rage. So, 500 Gjallarhorns. That's a large pot you're sitting on right now. Right now, it's kind of hard to say because, off the top of my head, I can't really think of any really good wisdom-based epics. But all I know is that there are a few legendaries you can get for about 500. I guess the new guy is pretty good. The Hollow Fernyigis. Oh my goodness, I can't even say that right. Let me look him up. I don't actually know how he performs because I have not faced him, thankfully, because he seems to be pretty crazy with Whirlwind. Although, Whirlwind is agi based. But as far as wisdom goes, it's kind of hard to say. I mean, I don't know what the rest of your team is and whether or not any suggestions that I could possibly give could correctly replace one of your team members. But if you don't have any legendaries, it might be worthwhile to invest in them and kind of, move your team up to legendaries. But then, of course, Astaroth came out recently with the last event, has Fire Stealth Roar, which is a wisdom-based attack. So if you do have a wisdom buff of some type... Oh, wait. Now I think about it. I think that's the wisdom buff abbreviation. Oh, I don't know. I'm so tired. I need to go to sleep. But, yeah, that's the thing. Unfortunately, I don't know what the rest of your team is like, so I can't really give a great suggestion. But I do know that a lot of legendaries are around 500 Gjallarhorns. So you might want to do something with that. I do know that you can get some non-perfect evolution Sekhmets with that. And of course, Torrent of Flame is wisdom-based, so, it might actually be worth investing in. You might want to search the Bazaar, see if Sekhmet is up. Because I know I searched a few days ago just to see how it is. I know pretty much perfect evolution is about 1,200, which is crazy, but I'm sure you could probably get one for about 500. So anyway, that's it for tonight. I'm obviously stumbling over my words and getting really sleepy now, so might as well go to bed. But there are a lot of questions still waiting to be answered. I will be answering them slowly as the week goes on. And of course, if you have any more questions, feel free to submit them. I will get to them eventually, don't worry. I just have a currently large stack of them. So anyway, good luck in the PvP event. There's only about 2 days left, and until next time.